Hello, Scott Thomas here with Stewardship Matters. Got a really important topic. It's called sudden wealth syndrome and its prevention. The term sudden wealth syndrome was coined by psychologist Stephen Goldbart, and it can be referred to as an identity crisis with symptoms of social isolation, paranoia, and guilt. The great increase of symptoms relating to a large influx of wealth unexpectedly or abruptly. As a financial advisor, I've witnessed sudden wealth syndrome up close, and the main risk factors are depression, anxiety disorders, and loss of sleep. From an outsider's perspective, it would seem reasonable to think that a large influx of wealth would make someone happier than before. Many individuals, however, find self-destructive behaviors like isolation or excessive or hasty spending or poor decision-making. The experts say there are ways to prevent or lessen the negative impacts. Hiring a financial advisor to assist in guiding and providing some structure to the newfound wealth greatly helps along with psychologists, psychiatrists, other mental health counselors, and personal and business coaching would likely pay really big dividends here as well. Stanford University, they've done decades of research in the area of big windfalls, mainly following lottery winners. They say that 90% of the time, all the money is gone within 5 years. Today, wealth windfall may not only be lottery winners, but it can be a lot of other things. The sale of a business, an inheritance, real estate, gambling winnings, lawsuit win, cryptocurrency score, a currency revaluation, as well as the traditional growth stock gains. So not having a plan and some proper perspective will put you in a bad place. It'll make you underperform or a total loss like the data suggests in the Stanford report. So before you score big or inherit wealth, it's important to know who you can trust and help guide you. Wealth sprung on individuals overnight, according to data, suggests a high chance of financial and personal hardships. So with that in mind, it's important to be on the search of who you trust and respect in advice and planning. Are there common takeaways to apply to your situation? Are there totally unique circumstances to your situation? Family dynamics and relationships are often do change. And if there are challenges, then likely wealth is only going to amplify those challenges. I recently spoke to a couple of friends of mine, and I've known them many, many years. Both have businesses, and the business exploded in value many times greater than they ever thought was possible. Both had the humility to say, I don't know everything. And they went on a learning path as accountants had told them, each of them in their separate businesses, about what was being realized. Both acknowledged that they needed help. And with this newfound wealth, both had the mindset to dream of what is possible, to align with their values, and both sought wisdom, prayer, and conversations of great questions. Both are now in a phase of getting more accountable systems, processes in place to handle the risk and to provide a properly planned path forward. Think of this as testing and examining people and processes. We should act shrewd, either with a little bit of wealth or with a lot. I suspect both will finish well and prepare the next generation for the best and to be able to devote time, energy, money towards the optimal results for the future. So I'm encouraged by the conversations from both of them, and they're very different people on a new journey, and happy for them. So if you are saying, hey, this would never happen to me. I get a big windfall. I would never go through that. Well, guess what? In the Stanford report, it says everyone pretty much says that. It's called optimistic bias, or thinking, hey, this isn't going to happen to me. Well, that's normal behavior left unchecked and not having a plan in place. My second year in financial planning and investment business, I had a brother and sister both inherit from a rich uncle. In today's dollars, it was around $2 million. The brother was only 18 years old. He wouldn't listen to anything I had to share with him. He only wanted to party, live fast, And he squandered all of the money in 7 years and died. The sister, a year older, she was prudent. She bought a house. She started a business. She invested both for the rainy day, short term, and for the long haul. Same parents, similar environment, however, radically different results. So it's important to note here on the planning, just because you create a plan and review it with a professional doesn't guarantee its success. Some want a plan to be a silver bullet or a magic pill, to be the solution. The way I like to describe a plan is that it starts you in the right direction. However, there needs to take place some ongoing conversations about cash flow, budget, goals, mission, and having the plan starts the path. But you know something? Family dynamics change. The environment changes, the tax rules change, outside forces. They require a review, an adjustment to the plan, new strategies in light of this. So a good question for your current financial advisor is to find out what processes are they using in due diligence on investments, beyond what the government filings or the industry reports in an ongoing basis. Allow me to stop and provide a retirement planning perspective on control. 3 things. What do we have total control over? Well, we have control over our spending versus saving and how investments are allocated. Number 2, what do we have some control over? Well, where we work or live or how long we're employed. We have some control, not total control. And guess what? We also have some control over how long we live, depending on your choices. It's not just genetics, but it's also the food we eat, how we take care of ourselves. So we have some control. So what do we have no control over? The thing that we don't have any control over, that the media focuses most of its energy, is on market returns. We don't have any control over the market returns. We also don't have control over taxation and benefits and the fiscal policies that go around that. So having your focus on the things that you can control and some things that you have total control in light of those markets will serve you great dividends. So one of the reoccurring messages from Wall Street is that wealth is often created in concentration. That means like a stock that grows. But it's really prudent risk management to require proper diversification. Again, I've seen more wealth created having, let's say, an individual stock or a piece of real estate or cryptocurrency or something that comes about, okay? Now, as a small business person, we can also get caught up in our own business and valuing our business too high. We're too optimistic about that as well. And I've seen that fall apart. So as a wealth advisor, you do need to diversify, and it would be smart and wise stewardship to pull some things back. I recall a personal story. I had 2 different people, 2 different companies. They came into my office. It was the year 1999. And I recall the dot-com bubble. And these 2 people came in, 95% of their wealth was in one stock. Okay, it was more than $1 million for each of them. Both of them were being told by the management that this company should continue this type of growth for many years to come. Don't sell any of this. I'm not selling any. You shouldn't sell any. Well, within a year, 99% was lost. Both companies went bankrupt. They lost it. I asked both of them when they came in to see me to sell 1/3, as it was considered a prudent move for the securities industry. They refused. They told me they would find another advisor to work with, that this was in fact their very best investment they'd ever made. Obviously, it was 95% of their money. Both of the individuals and their just bosses, they displayed optimistic bias. I didn't know these stocks were going to crash. I had no idea. I was just applying logic to diversify assets for greater downside protection through this diversification. We could all benefit when dealing with emotional decisions to get some guidance. Sudden wealth syndrome is a real abnormal condition, And we can get pulled into the success hype or get blinded by our optimism. Getting help early and getting wise guidance will serve you well. Due diligence is not just a one-time event. It's ongoing. It's reviewing and asking questions on the path you're on and the work to achieve. So investment managers should also have due diligence applied. My back office actually has a team of 6 people that do due diligence on an ongoing basis. It helps investors and advisors. And this process is built on the foundation of people, philosophy, process, and portfolio construction. Experienced teams and stable organizations with a clearly defined and tried and tested process in various market conditions and applied to risk management. Perhaps you or someone you know is coming into wealth or has recently experienced a windfall. They need perspective. They need wisdom to guide. You can reach out to me at stewardshipmatters.net. That's stewardshipmatters.net. Thank you for listening and sharing with your friends.